Act 1, Scene 3. Enter Capulet's wife and nurse. Capulet is Juliet. That's Juliet's mom. Capulet's wife. Nurse, where's my daughter? Call her forth to me. Nurse, now by my maiden head at 12-year-old, I bade her come. Now by my maiden head at 12-year-old, I bade her come. What lamb? What ladybird? God forbid. Where's this girl? What? Juliet. Enter Juliet. So she's like, where is she at? She's just like, Juliet, how now? Who calls? Nurse, your mother. Juliet, Madame, I am here. What is your will? Capulet's wife, this is the matter, nurse. Give leave a while. We must talk in secret. Nurse, come back again. I have remembered me. Thou'st hear our counsel. Thou knowest my daughter is of a pretty age. Nurse, faith, I can tell her age into an hour. Capulet's wife, she's not 14. Nurse, I'll lay 14 on my teeth, and yet to my teen be it spoken. I have but 4. She's not 14. How long is it now to Lamastide? Capulet's wife, a fortnight in odd days. So I think they're just saying she's like admiring her that she's getting older, or maybe she's trying to act. She's like, she just thinks she's a woman already. Maybe they're being sarcastic. Nurse, even or odd of all days in the year, come Lammas Eve at night shall be. Okay, even or odd of all days in the year, come Lammas Eve at night shall she be 14. Susan and she, God rest all Christian souls, were of an age. While Susan is with God, she was too good for me, but as I said, on Lammas Eve at night shall she be 14. That shall she marry, I remember it well. 'Tis since the earthquake now 11 years, and she was weaned. I never shall forget it. Of all the days of the year upon that day, for I had then laid wormwood to my dug, sitting in the sun under the dove-house wall, my lord, and you were then at Mantua. Nay, I do bear a brain, but as I said, when it did taste the wormwood on the nipple of my dug, and felt it bitter, pretty full, to see it tetchy and fall out with the dug. Shake, quoth the dove-house, 'twas no need, I trow, to bid me trudge. And since that time it is 11 years, for then she could stand high alone, nay, by the rood. She could have run and wallowed all about, for even the day before she broke her brow, and then my husband, God be with his soul, was a merry man, took up the child. Yea, quoth he, dost thou fall upon thy face? Thou wilt fall backward when thou hast more writ. Wilt thou not, Jewel? And by my holidam, the pretty wretch left crying and said, to see now has jest shall come about. I warrant, and I should live 1,000 years, I never should forget it. Wilt thou not, Jewel, quoth he, and pretty full it stinted, and said, Capulet's wife, enough of this, I pray thee hold thy peace. Nurse, yes, madam, yet I cannot choose but laugh. So she's telling her about what happened to the other girl, maybe some like tragedy of her own, but she was super into it. She was using all these crazy words. So the queen's like, enough of this, I pray thee hold thy peace. Nurse, yes, madam, yet I cannot choose but laugh, to think it should leave crying and say, and yet I warrant it had upon it brow a bump as big as a young cockerel stone, a perilous knock, and it cried bitterly. Yea, quoth my husband, fallest upon thy face. Thou wilt fall backward when thou comest to age. Wilt thou not, Jewel? It stinted and said, Juliet. And stint thou too, I pray thee, nurse, say I. Nurse, peace I have done, God mark thee to his grace. Thou wast the prettiest babe that e'er I nursed, and I might live to see thee married once, I have my wish. Capulet's wife, Mary, that Mary is the very theme I came to talk of. Tell me, daughter Juliet, how stands your disposition to be married? Juliet, it is an honor that I dream not of. It is an honor that I dream not of. Nurse, an honor? Were not I thine only nurse? I would say thou hadst sucked wisdom from thy teat. Capulet's wife, well, think of marriage now, younger than you, here in Verona, ladies of esteem are made already mothers. By my count, I was your mother much upon these years, that you are now a maid. Thus then in brief, the valiant Paris seeks you for his love. Oh, the guy from Paris. Ooh, nurse, a man, young lady, such a man has all the world. Why, he's a man of wax. Capulet's wife, Verona's summer hath not such a flower. Nurse, nay, he's a flower in faith, a very flower. Capulet's wife, what say you? Can you love the gentleman? This night you shall behold him at our feast. Read o'er the volume of young Paris's face, and find delight writ there with beauty's pen. Examine every married lineament, and see how one another lends content, and what obscured in this fair volume lies, find written in the margin of his eyes. This precious book of love, this unbound lover, to beautify him only lacks a cover. The fish lives in the sea, and 'tis much pride, for fair without the fair within to hide. That book in many's eyes doth share the glory, that in gold clasps locks in the golden story. So shall you share all that he doth possess, by having him making yourself no less. Let's read that again. Nay, he's a flower in faith, a very flower. Capulet. What say you? Can you love the gentleman? This night you shall behold him at our feast. Read o'er the volume of young Paris's face, and find a light writ there with beauty's pen. So you'll find that he likes you when you go to the party. Watch him. Examine every married lineament, and see how one another lends content. And what obscured in this fair volume lies, find written in the margin of his eyes. This precious book of love, this unbound lover, to beautify him only lacks a cover. The fish lives in the sea, and 'tis much pride, for fair without the fair within to hide. That book in many's eyes doth share the glory, that in gold clasps locks in the golden story. Story of love. So shall you share all that he doth possess, by having him making yourself no less. Nurse. No less, nay, bigger, women grow by men. Capulet's wife. Speak briefly, can you like of Paris's love? The nurse is, women grow by men. Speak briefly, can you like of Paris's love? That's what the wife said. Juliet's mom. Juliet. I'll look to like, if looking liking move. Well, no more deep will I endart mine eye, then your consent gives strength to make it fly. Enter Peter. Peter. Madame, the guests are come, supper served up. You called, my young lady asked for, the nurse cursed in the pantry, and everything in extremity. I must hence to wait. I beseech you, follow straight. Capulet's wife. We follow thee. Exit Peter. Juliet. The county stays. Nurse. Go, girl, seek happy nights to happy days. Exeunt. Act 1, Scene 3.